What's up, everyone? Welcome back. What we have here, this is a 2013 Triumph Tiger 800 XC. XC will stand for like the spoke rims. They have the XR and all that. Some of you may know, some of you may not, that I worked at one of the national service centers for Triumph when I lived in California. We took care of everything from buybacks, lawsuits, commercials, movies, custom builds, you name it. We did it through Triumph. Prototype stuff that came in, whatever it was, we took care of it all. And I met a lot of really cool celebrities and worked on a lot of really cool stuff. But anyways, oh, one more fun fact. Myself and my old boss are the only two people in the country that were certified to change out frames on these. We would get damaged bikes from the warehouse, be getting damage in shipping. Especially these were really bad for bending back here on the foot pegs when the forklifts would go to pick the box up. And I could change a frame out in one of these in 7 hours. That is, completely strip the bike down, put it back together, factory torque specs, whole 9 yards, 7 hours. And I had a lot of these because of the stupid footrest on the back. Passenger peg would bend, so now they have those where they bolt on and unbolt. Well, what the problem is here, this one's been to another shop here locally that is actually going to open up a Triumph dealer, Slingshot, I think Kawasaki and Indian. The company that's doing it has been around the area for a long time. They're currently a Honda dealer. But besides that, it was there. Steve brought it back to me and wants me to check it out. I have done a lot of work on this in the past as far as like tires, runnability issues and things like that. So what he said is that this thing, he said, got hot and died on him and won't stay running. So I don't know what he means when he means overheated or got hot. Now right now I'm looking at the gas gauge. It's not showing me anything as far as the gas gauge goes, so I'm wondering if this thing is empty on gas. Was it drained out? I am not sure. There is gas in there, but it's not showing on that gauge. But let's turn this thing over. Actually, let's take a walk to the other side real quick and let's check that oil height. The oil looks really dark and completely full. So let's just go ahead and try to start this thing. Let's see how it turns over. And if it, again, it's not showing anything on the gas gauge. I have no check engine lights. I will try to turn it over. I will go ahead and take the seat off and we will plug into that with my Triumph tool, my, what is it, something UK, I forget what it's called. But anyways, let's see what happens here. You can see it's really, really weak. I don't know if the battery's low or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the seat off. I'll grab my software. We'll plug into this thing and see if we have any stored code. All right, so you can see what we have here. We got the dealertool.co.uk. Comes with a little USB drive, the OBD2 reader, and we would plug that in right down here. Let me turn on my computer here. Hopefully it's charged. And I think my dongle goes in this side. I don't remember, it's been a hot minute. Let this thing fire up. We'll check for any codes or anything like that. I forget how much this was. This one's the unrestricted version. Operating systems, Windows 7, 8, 8.1, 10, 64-bit system. So that's why I bought this little cheapy computer up here. All right. I'm gonna go up here to launch. I'm gonna plug this guy in. Let's see, okay. And key on. If I can turn the key on, keys on. And ECU data, if I have it hooked up correctly. There we go. Read ECU. Get these seats out of the way. All right, still reading, we're good there. Received, ECU is registered, back to main page. And now we're gonna go ahead and check faults. don't know how well you guys can see this or not, but now I know, I'm not sure if they have updated this or not. There are no fault codes. Sensor values, okay, back to main page. Let's see, sensor values. Steps look good, target idle. Of course, none of it's going to be running. I'm just kind of making sure there's nothing like out of whack here. So we have no faults, no mill light. The light's on. Of course, side stand is up, clutch is released. So you can pull that clutch and it'll show it's gripped and now released. So nothing there. We're gonna go back to main page again. And that's honestly about all I can really do. I just wanted to check it for codes to make sure there's nothing crazy on it. So I think my next step here, let me go ahead and shut this down. My next step would be to turn this thing over by hand. And in order to do that, we'll get this thing back over here out of the way. Shut off the key. And what we'll do next, we'll go ahead and take the cover off, this timing cover off over here, and it connects directly to the crank. There's a few 6x10 bolts there with the 8mm head. We'll take that off. I think it's a 14 or a 17, and we'll crank this over by hand to see if we have any rough spots in it or anything locking up like the cylinders are binding. If we have that, then we got to pull off the front fender, these side pieces here and here on both sides, up here, here. Gas tank will come off. When these come off, gas tank will be lifted up, unhooked, and we'll be able to gain access to the top of the cylinder, and we'll drop a bore scope down in there. So let me get the side case off, get the lift up, get that off, and then we'll go ahead and turn this motor over. All right, we got the bolts out. Let's see if we can slowly work this thing off. These things like to stick a little bit, so sometimes you need a little persuasion to help them pop loose. Trying not to destroy the gasket back here. It looks like it doesn't want to come off. So it looks like we're going to have to get a new gasket regardless. But that's all right. Come on. Slowly but surely, working its way around here. There we go. I hate when it does that. The pin for one of the timing chain tensioners likes to come loose. It's not hard to get back up there. You can just kind of lift it back up and put it back in spot. Just like, whoop, I missed that time. But you can see how easy that one comes in and out. Anyways, so let me get that pin back in there, and that would be because the timing chain tensioner is now too tight to let me slide down to get it mounted in there. All right, so I got the pin back in. I did have to take timing chain tensioner out and recompress it and reset it. So let's turn this over by hand, see if we feel anything. Honestly, everything feels really good. Nothing feels like it's dragging. Get past all the compression strokes. I mean, I hear that on the timing chain, but I mean, that's not a big deal. Let's go opposite direction. I really don't feel anything why that would hold up. So I'm gonna double check the voltage in that battery, see where we're at on that real quick. I'm gonna put the side cover back on. It does have a little piece missing right there, but we're just gonna do this for testing purposes to see what's going on, because that feels pretty good. So it could be a plethora of different things. I can see coolant up here. He said it got hot, so I'm not sure. We're gonna check the battery voltage one more time and hit the button again and see what happens. All right, let's put it down here. Look at my voltmeter real quick. Let's see what it has to say. Black, red, 12.10 volts. Okay, well, let's cycle the key on. Clutch in. It just doesn't seem like, let's grab our jump pack way over here. Hook this up. Power on. Whew, sweaty, hot. All right, we got some extra boost. Keys on. It does not feel like it's a motor issue. So, in that case, we're gonna drain the oil. We'll take a look at the oil real quick, but it turns over smooth. I mean, there's compression there, but it turns over smooth. You know what? I wonder how many volts is dropping down when I do hit that button. So let's go ahead and try to get our meter hooked back up in here. Oh, come on. Stay in place. See, it's showing 11.8 now. Key on. 11.42. See, that's a volt below what it needs to be. Hand in, pushing the button. If I can reach it. 7 volts. So pull the battery out, load test it, and see what's up. All right, so I just got off the phone with the customer. I wanted to talk to him for a little bit about what was going on. Man, there's a lot going on apparently. So he said basically he took it, I was busy, so he took it to a different dealership here locally, and they changed the oil, put a new fuel pump in it, put a new starter in it, chain and sprockets, and then he took it out for a ride and it got really hot. He said him and his granddaughter ride it around and it got hot, and he pulled over. He said no fluid spilt on the ground. He just had some lights come on. He let it cool down for a while, started it back up. Lights were off, rode it home, parked it, and then, no, I take that back. He rode it. It did have a light on. I probably had a check engine light on, most likely, after letting it cool down for like a half hour or whatever he said he let it cool down for. Drove it back home, let it sit overnight, came out the next day. I believe it's the next day. He's fired it up, no lights, sounded good, so he went out for a ride, and it died and left him stranded, and that's when he took it back to the other dealership, and they apparently went through it. He said there was a new starter on there, but the starter does not look new at all. The oil is way over full. That is actually above the top of the sight glass, just sitting here on the center stand. New oil filter I could see. So what I'm gonna do, you guys saw we checked codes, there's no codes. He said he was having a stalling problem. Sometimes these Tigers had a stalling problem with the clutch switch, the fuel pump, or the needed to be idle drop procedure done again and have that readjusted. I could check the throttle body sync to make sure that could be part of the problem too. But if the unit's not running, I can't do that. So what I'm gonna do, and the fun part of this, is you gotta go ahead and pull the front fender off, if I don't drop the microphone. Front fender, these side pieces, the gas tank, these pieces, the air box. I'm gonna pull out the spark plugs. I'm charging the battery right now over here. And then we're gonna go ahead and stick a bore scope down in there, turned it over, saw that, turned over smooth, no binding, nothing like that, unless we were hitting a compression stroke. So I'm really wondering what's going on with this machine. I have rode the crap out of these things and I've had zero issues out of the Tigers, besides a few small things. This is the first time it's had a huge issue. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go back through, pull everything off, take a look, see what we can see if they missed something, if they did something wrong, whatever it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull off all the body work, the gas tank, the air box, and see what's going on downside these cylinders. All right, so we got the side panels off, tanks off. I got the air box loose. I got the coils unplugged. Let's take the air box top off. Let's take a look down in this thing real quick. I mean, ooh, the intake looks pretty nasty. Let me grab a booger out of my nose first. Let's take a look down in here. Number one, ooh, intake valves look gross. Number two's not so bad. Number three is actually open right now. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not, but there's a lot of carbon on those, but it is what it is, so that's good. I don't see any debris, so I'm not worried about the air cleaner right now. Let's go ahead and let's pull out the spark plugs real quick. Let's see what those look like. Ooh, rusty. Ooh, number one looks nasty. Whoa, what was that? Oh, screw out of the air box. Yeah. Number four, or number three, number four, so use number four. Let's grab the screw that dropped on the ground over here before we lose it for the air box. Got that. Let's grab sorry, wife came in and interrupted me. These aren't even tight. They're not even tight. Oh, jeez Louise, man. Well, probably should have blew down in there real quick. That's my fault. Got distracted. CR9EK comes out of this guy here. Let me grab my compressed air and blow down in there like I meant to do before I got sidetracked. A little too late on that one, but it is what it is. Let's check out, that was number 3 cylinder. Gonna pull out number 2. I mean, these definitely need to be changed. I don't know if I have any CR9EKs over there or not, but again, we want to turn this over without any spark plugs to see if we're binding up anywhere. Now, I think the biggest problem we're probably going to run into here is that, okay, I ran into this on the Triumphs before with a aftermarket Chinese part, the stator, that caused me to do everything underneath the sun I could do, and finally found out they put a cheap Chinese stator in there, and it made the bike run like crap. He replaced the starter with one from Caltrix or whatever, cheap Chinese Amazon, which is probably like, I don't know, let's see how much it is. Currently unavailable. Don't know when it'll be back in stock. So the Nietzsche one is 40 bucks. The Caltrick one is probably about the same. It's currently unavailable, and there's probably a reason why it's currently unavailable. Probably because it's causing this issue. I would not put that past that. So let's grab my bore scope, put my bore scope down in here. We'll take a look at that. I'm probably gonna end up pulling the airbox anyways to double check that starter to see if we're having a starter issue, even though it's new. What we gotta do is pull out these four here, and I think there's an 8mm head or 6x10 bolt underneath here that holds the box on, and then you got some of your tubes. So let's grab my bore scope and we'll jump down in the cylinder to see what we got. Now this is a bore scope from Amazon, after I was just talking trash about certain things, but this thing, it's not a hard part that goes on a motorcycle. Cheap Chinese shit is cheap Chinese junk. So, kind of like I say about all my Massimo Heisling videos, I try to avoid any of that stuff unless it's not made anymore. All right. Hopefully, this might be too big to fit down in the bore, but we're gonna find out. We'll turn this on. And we'll start down in this guy here. Number 1 cylinder. I don't think we're gonna be able to get down in there because it looks like we might be a little too big to fit down in that hole. Yep, sure looks like it, but let's turn up the brightness here. Still can't see anything. Let's see if I can see anything through the intake track of this one, of number 3. Beside the really dirty wall. This is gonna be fun. So now I can't even look down there with a damn bore scope. But from what I can tell, let's zoom in. That cylinder looks clean. That cylinder looks really, really clean. You saw a little bit of debris down there from on the intake valves from that. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull this airbox out and we're gonna test this starter. This starter's kind of got me worried. So again, I'll pull these all out real quick, pull that out, pull the airbox off, and we'll yank the starter out. All right, I almost forgot, I want to try to turn this over. I got the throttle bodies unhooked. I got all kinds of things unhooked right now. So let's see if we can actually, I know we'll get a bunch of codes, but let's see if this thing turns over with the plugs out. And again, that is supposed to be a Caltrick starter in there. So let's turn the key, see what kind of code, I mean, I'm gonna get codes everywhere, but whatever. Here we go. Okay, so I got nothing right now. I may have to hook up a couple things to get this to fire over. Not sure what it needs for me to do that. So I'm gonna hook a few things up real quick and we'll try to fire it back up. All right, so here we go again. Let's see what happens. Trying to see the valves moving here. All that sounds good. Now the clicking is going to be because that's a timing chain tensioner, because that is a hydraulic one. So I'm going to go ahead. We know the starter works. Let's throw it back under load real quick and see if we can get it to turn over with the spark plugs in. All right, plugs are back in. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. It's either the battery or the starter. Battery or the starter, one of the two. There's no reason this thing shouldn't turn over. But he put a Caltrick starter in this thing, so I'm still going to take that out and take a, well, no, I'm going to let this battery charge all the way before we do that. Probably should have did that in the first place, but I was just getting ahead of myself. Not a big deal. I wanted to check the plugs. I wanted to check all the connections. I wanted to be able to look down inside the cylinders, and the cylinders look great. So let the battery charge, and then we'll decide what we're going to do on the starter if we still have the same issue with the battery once it's charged. Now, I want you guys to tell me, does this look like a brand new starter? It's hot. I mean, it's hot to the touch right now. But does this look like a brand new starter at all, any way, shape, or form? Look how dirty and beat up this thing is. This is not a brand new starter. There is no way in hell that they put a brand new starter in here. I'm gonna call BS. Now, maybe they beat it up like this. I don't know, but man, I mean, the starter doesn't feel horrible, but again, it turns over. But look how beat up this thing is. Look how dirty it is. Unbelievable. So I'm gonna let that battery charge. I might stick this back in and see, but I may just order up a brand new OEM starter. All right, so I finally got the new starter in right here. Now, I have the old one back in again, just kind of testing it out, but the new one finally came in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the old one out off camera. We'll put the new one in, and we'll see if it turns this motor over. Now, all the spark plugs are back in this, so that's a positive part. So I'm gonna reinstall this. Now, you can just see the difference between this starter and the other one, just how this is not all scratched up and beat up and old. And then you can see the Bendix doesn't look as bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the old one out, which is gonna entice me to pick up the throttle bodies and all that. We'll put those back down in there, and we'll push the button and see if this thing rotates over like it should. All right, throttle bodies are pressed back in. Injectors are hooked up. Things are hooked up on this. Let's go ahead and turn the key, and let's see if this turns this motor over properly now. Who knows what's gonna happen? Let's find out. Woo! It turns it over, but it sounds gnarly. That is really, really loud. I wonder why that's so ungodly loud, but everything's hooked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it all back together, tighten up the throttle bodies, put the coils back in, do all that stuff, and we'll fire this thing up and see. And if we still have a crazy amount of noise, then I'm gonna go ahead and check the sprag clutch and all that to make sure that is still on the up and up. That could be one of our issues now. The sprag clutch could be going bad, or the one-way clutch for the starter clutch on this thing could be going bad, causing that loud noise too. So when we start it, I mean, that's pretty wicked sounding. So we may drain the oil, pull this off, and just take a look at that anyways, because that is really, really loud. But I want to get the tank and everything back on here before we start pulling that apart. So I'm gonna put this back together, and then we'll continue on with taking off the crash bar, drain the oil, and checking that starter clutch or the one-way clutch behind the flywheel. All right, got the fuel tank back on, air box, everything back in there how it should be. Let's go ahead and turn on our software here. Now that's gonna take a minute. I forgot to start the computer up. But we're gonna turn on the software, and what we have dealertool.uk, or actually it's dealertool.co.uk. I don't have any factory Triumph software anymore, unfortunately. Lost that access a while back. But at least with this, we can still check codes. We can do all that good stuff. Now we know that we had turned the key on multiple times with a lot of stuff unplugged. So we know we're gonna have a bunch of codes. So let's see what we got going on here. Turn the key on. Fuel pump prime. Good. ECU. Read ECU data. ECU type, key in A. Okay, let's register, back to main menu. And then we'll check fault codes. The only reason I have this particular computer is honestly to run this software and have some service manuals on it. I don't use this thing for anything else. But yeah, let's see, we got a lot going on here. Throttle position sensor, low voltage. Yep. Fuel level. Yep. All that would be me. Clear the codes. Fault's cleared. Okay. Checking for fault codes again in case I left something unplugged, which is always a possibility. Helps that I pressed a button. Now I know I was reading his service work order, coolant temperature sensor high voltage. Oh, that one's in a shitey spot, and I bet you I forgot to plug that back in. I know which one that is. That goes on the back of the head, which I should be able to access right down. All right, guys, so I got the new coolant temperature sensor in there. It still had an error. I got to looking, and what it was doing, a pin was pushing out of the back of the connector, and it was slightly bent. So got that in there, got the new temperature sensor in there, and got that code cleared. Everything is back together. We're gonna go ahead and turn our key on. Fuel pump cycle. We're gonna go up here to our launch D tool, get back to this, hit that. We're gonna go over here to ECU data. We'll open that file back up again. Again, this is dealertool.co.uk. Works really well for all your Triumph stuff. There might be one or two models it doesn't do. I haven't had an update in a while. So it's registered, back to main page. We're gonna go to check faults, which I know I have faults because I had things disconnected when I was checking that coolant temperature sensor. Should be like ignition coils, fuel pump, random things like that. We'll clear that out. And then we'll go ahead and read codes again. Fuel level sender circuit malfunction. Okay, we're gonna clear that code because we actually had that unhooked when we did that. We're gonna check for faults one more time, just to make sure everything is hooked up. Now, I'm pretty sure the starter clutch or Sprag clutch is going out on this thing because it is really loud when it went to start that one time. It didn't seem like it was running the greatest, but we're gonna check all that again as soon as we make sure that the ECU has no fault codes in it. No fault codes present. Cool, back to main page. All right, so set this guy. Well, it might, let's see if it stays up here. Put you back on my chest mount. Again, let's listen down here. I'm gonna cycle the fuel pump real quick. Let's take a listen here. Now that sounds to me like Sprag clutch is going out. It may not be running on all four cylinders either, or all three cylinders. It's got a slight miss to it. We'll check throttle body balance. It's definitely missing on a cylinder. It's definitely not running all four, I can tell you that. Okay, well, it's not picking that up for some reason. Back to main page. I can hear that, hear a little something going on. Check some sensor values. Something's a little clickety-clackety. Throttle 1, coolant temp. Injector 1, 2, 3. Ignition 19, 19, 19. Map. You know what? I don't think I hooked up the map sensor. The hose on the back of the map sensor. I think I did forget that. It's probably why it's running like that if I didn't hook that hose up. So let me go ahead, lift the tank, double check, make sure I got that plugged in to the map sensor on the air box. Well, I can reach, yeah, I can feel it right there. I forgot to plug that in. It's like, why is it running so rough? Can't see it, but right there's a nipple sticking down, and the hose for that is right down here. I need to feed it back up through there, and then I'll hook it on that little nipple. All right, it's hooked up. Let me shine a light in here so you guys see where we're at. That little guy right there, I forgot to hook up. So that's on me on that one. I've done that before. So let's go ahead and start this thing up again. I will have to reconnect my computer to that. Back to main page. So let's see if it sounds, I know it's gonna sound horrible starting up, but let's see if it runs any better. Nope, still sounds like it's running on 2 cylinders. Let's go ahead and do this the easy way. Where is my brake clean? So what we can do, we can shoot each individual pipe. 1, 2, 3 looks good. 1 and 2 are a little cool. 3, you see how it dissipates really fast? 1 and 2 are kind of holding a little bit. Makes me wonder what's going on here. Definitely. Let's go ahead and read ECU again. And we'll go try to get that throttle body balance. Sucks if I gotta do that, then I gotta pull the tank up, I gotta pull the air box up, all that. So we're registered again. But it definitely doesn't sound like it's running on all cylinders. So you can see it's a little bit out. Number 2's out a smidge. I would like to bring that closer. That may cure some of this problem I have. Oh, it really sucks because now I gotta pull the air box back off to do that. But that's my own fault. I mean, it's not horrible. I don't think it's not gonna affect the way it sounds, but you can kind of tell it's kind of hitting and missing. All right, so go back to main page. Let's check my instruments. Actually, let's check sensor values again. Ignition advance and all 3 cylinders look good. I mean, like I said, you can see we're a little off there and there, but that's not good. I don't believe that's good. That may affect that a little bit. Battery's charging really well. I'll probably go in and reset the balance on the throttle bodies again. O2, TPS volts. Just sounds a little off. Fall switch is okay. All right, so let's back to main page. So we can set the mileage and all that good stuff. Don't care about that. Trying to remember where my should be able to cooling fan test once it connects. That's what I want to see. Engine should be running when we perform these tests, but let's go ahead and... Sounds a little off. Oh, we do have a check engine light. We do have a check engine light, so let's go back to the main page. Faults. No, not test, faults. It just doesn't sound right. It almost sounds like it's missing on a cylinder. Maybe it's just the exhaust in itself making me think that. Inlet manifold pressure, one sensor pipe disconnected. Yes, that was very true. There we go. Clear that out. Back to main page. All right, so it's off up there again. You can hear the change in it. You should shut off your unit and have it idling. For some reason, the fuel level sensor is not showing fuel in here. And I know it's hooked up. Man, it just feels like it's missing. It sounds like it's missing. It feels like it's missing. It's vibrating. But man. All right, we're gonna go ahead and shut it off real quick. We're gonna test the cooling fan. It should still be connected, I think. It's a quick on off, so we might not have lost connection. We might have, but we'll see. Man, they're showing the same temperature. It just doesn't sound right. Yes, I own a Triumph. Yes, I have worked with Triumph. Yes, I was one of the big guys around California for Triumph, and I can't remember. It's been a while for the Tigers and cooling fan. Okay, that's good. You hear it kicking off and on. Purge valve, secondary air injection test. Back to main menu. Let's check the ABS. Does this one have? Yeah, this should have ABS on it. We're gonna check the ABS. Did I lose connection with the ECU? Something happened. I got nothing now. Huh, weird. Shut down on me. Try again. Sometimes I'll connect with the ABS, double check for any faults in there, but I am not getting a fuel level up there. There should be a fuel level, and I'm not getting that. I don't care if you see the VIN number and all that stuff. All right, so what were we after here? ABS. I accept. Connect to ABS unit. Power source voltage drop. Clear ABS faults. Faults cleared. There we go. Connect the ABS unit again. Should be no faults in there now. Back to main page. So that's probably when they put a new battery in it. And again, looks like we got to go through the whole shebang again, but whatever. We're not going to deal with all that. So let's go ahead and start it one more time just to listen to that sprag clutch or starter clutch down here. You can just hear how loud that is. I got no fault codes, but I'm pretty sure that sprag clutch is going south. So I'm going to order up left side cover gasket for the stator side and a one-way bearing on that. But man, I mean, it does. Sounds like it's revving up like it should, but I'm going to give the customer a call, talk to him about the fuel level sender, because I'm not getting a reading on the dash for that. I'll double check my connectors on that to see if it's something I did, but I know that's all plugged in. Could have been something they did when they put the stupid fuel pump in. So let's figure out the rest of the stuff going on with this 13 Tiger. If you guys listen to the bike now, it sounds way better. I got the airbox off, tank back on. We were syncing these two screws, cylinder 1 and 2 to 3. You look over here, you can see where it says balance now. We're at 57 kPa, 57 and 56. I try to get them perfect, but I can't. It's not letting me get them absolutely perfect. It kind of jumps just a smidge. So you can hear the difference. Now, it doesn't sound like it's running on 2 cylinders anymore. That, like, apparently that little bit was, as it warmed up, that little bit we were looking at actually got greater and greater and greater. So now I got them balanced. You can hear the difference in the way it sounds. I mean, you see where it says adjust? Now it comes back into balance. And 56, 57, 57, 56, 57. Man, this thing is balanced good. Again, the next thing we're going to do is with the black line leaves, we're going to order up the starter clutch because it is really loud and getting harder to start with the new starter in there. We're going to order up the new starter clutch, case gasket, and I think they put 5 quarts of oil in this thing, and I think it only takes 4 quarts, right at 4 quarts. So, and we'll have to drain the oil out to change that clutch, sprag clutch anyways, get the flywheel off. So get that ordered up. The next part of the video will be us doing that. I'm going to put all this back together, and we'll get that sprag clutch replaced next.